Okay, this is my demonstration of the counseling session on what to do. First thing to be demonstrated and talked about is the body positioning. When choosing a location for the interview, you are to try to minimize environmental distractions, TV, telephones, anything that can distract the client from listening to you or you listening to the client, such as, like I said, TV, anything like that. Anything that's making noise is disrupting the session. You want to be sure that the place is private, such as like this. I'm in the client's home, private place. He told me where to sit, grabbed me a seat, which is what you're supposed to do. Make sure the client seats you when you're in their home. If he was in my office, I would seat him 3 to 4 feet away from me. I'm also supposed to be aware of the need for the client's personal space. I mean, of course, I'm not going to get up right next to him, so I position myself a comfortable distance away from him. And the next demonstration is on furthering responses. This is the way that I convey understanding to the client. Nonverbal way of saying keep talking. Like, for instance, if he would be telling me something and he would pause, I would say things like tell me more, or like I am listening, and say yes, go on. Encourage him to keep talking. Next thing to demonstrate is the facial expressions. Social workers use facial expressions to mirror back the client, or to the client, the awareness of like how I feel. Like if he was telling me something like sad, like say like he told me his mother just passed away, of course I'm not going to look at him and smile. I'm going to look at him, and obviously I would probably feel sad anyway for him, so I'd be looking at him, like in my facial expression would be like pretty much a frown, a sad face. My facial expression should, reinforce what I'm saying. So I say it's a beautiful day outside, and I'm looking at him. Of course, I'm gonna, say it with a smile on my face and not with a frown. If I, for instance, say if I said to him, my mother just died, I'm not going to say it with a smile on my face. I'm going to say it, and my facial expression is going to reinforce what I just said. Obviously with a frown on my face or a sad face because my mother just died. Next thing is lead-in responses. This is like whenever I pose a question to him to pretty much start the interview, to start him talking, like, and this is where I would match like to the client's verbal style. Like if I see that Carl is like a more physical person, then I'd say I feel. If he's a more visual person, I would say I see what you're talking about, or I feel what you're talking about. Again, to convey understanding. Next thing is paraphrasing, which is Carl, tell me about your family. Wife, kids, like around wife, about your family.
Kids. Wife, 6 kids.
How long have you been married?
30 years.
30 years.
Yes.
So, pretty much paraphrasing, Carl has a wife of 30 years and 2 kids. I mean, that's pretty much what he said, but me paraphrasing would be me saying back to him pretty much what he told me and shortening it just to make sure that I understand the message that he sent to me, the message that he said to me. Paraphrasing, it's used along with the reflection of feelings technique and the interpretation technique. It helps me to, as a social worker, to understand, more clearly what the client is thinking and feeling. Next thing to capture is the reflection of feelings. As a social worker, the best thing I can do is, is to feel empathy and understanding. That's the best responses that I can give to the client. I have to, understand feelings in order to understand their feelings. I have to make sure that, I don't dig too deep too quick, or that can mess up the counseling process and the relationship between the client and the social worker. An example would be, say Carl told me that his daughter is really, really sick or something, or his son is really, really sick. And I would say back to him, I understand that you're having a hard time, that this is rough for you. Just to say that, to let him know that I understand that he's hurting, and I feel for his daughter too. I should also know how, to connect words that the client says with, how they feel. If the client is saying negative words, then of course I know that he's feeling, not feeling great. Like if he's saying he feels wonderful, things are wonderful, then I know he feels good. And the next part is closed-ended questions. They're basically the simple type of questions that open up the client, so that he can feel more comfortable with me. Like an example of an open-ended question would be, how many kids do you have, Coral?
6.
6 kids. That's an open-ended question. Short question, accurate, right to, the facts. And on the opposite end of that would be, or that's the closed-ended question. The opposite of that would be the open-ended question. This is where this gives the client the opportunity to explain, the problem or whatever he or she is talking about to the social worker in more depth. So another example would be, you have 6 kids. How old are they, and where are they?
My kids range from teenagers to adults, and they're 2 are at home. 1 is in Johnstown. 1 is in Homewood. And 1 is in East Liberty.
And you see how that question went more in depth, and obviously required deeper answer, more talking from the client. The client wouldn't do that, and that's the reason for the closed-ended question, because simple questions, open up the client to answering like that, to more in-depth questions, better trust relationship with the social worker. And it said back in the one of the first couple chapters, it said obviously that I'm not gonna, whatever the client says to me, I'm not gonna look shocked or, never downgrade or, make myself to be better than. I'm always on the same level as the client, and I want them to feel like that too. Next thing is, or the last thing is clarification. This is used by the social workers so that they know for sure the information and everything that they've heard from the client is accurate. So Carl told me he has 6 kids, and they all live, about. So if I wasn't sure about something, I'd say, so you are saying that you have 6 kids and they live in various locations.
Yes.
Or another way of phrasing that would be, am I hearing you correctly when you said that you have 6 kids?
Yes, you are.
It's used when the social worker doesn't fully understand, the client's situation and the more in-depth details. And this concludes my role play video. Not good, but see ya.